When you register an application, the system automatically creates default hierarchy sets for the application's dimensions. For example, registering an application with a dimension for departments will create data chain objects that include a department node type, hierarchy set, node set, and viewpoint. Hierarchy sets define parent-child relationships for nodes. You can define alternate hierarchy sets when you want to customize the relationships between the same or different node types, or to define mapping relationships between node types from different applications. Say that in your department dimension, you want to include hierarchical groupings of employees by department. You've created a separate node type, employees, for employee nodes. The next step is to create a custom hierarchy set to control how the department and employee node types can interact. Navigate to Hierarchy Sets and click Create. Select an application dimension and enter a name and optional description for the hierarchy set. Click Create to open the Hierarchy Set Inspector. On the General tab, you can edit the name and description. Notice that the hierarchy set is in draft mode until you add node types. You add node types on the Definition tab. Click Edit to manage node types. Then select the node types you want to include. I'll select Department and Employee. The Child option column lets you control which node types can be used as children of the selected node type. For this hierarchy, I want to allow departments in the hierarchy to have either department or employee child nodes. Employee nodes should never have departments as children. I'll select Any for the department node type and Selected for the employee node type. When the child option is selected, you specify the node types to allow as children in the Child Node Types column. Shared nodes allow the same nodes to exist multiple times in the hierarchy set and are enabled by default. You can also allow nodes in the hierarchy to have a custom order under parents in a hierarchy viewpoint. By default, nodes are sorted alphanumerically under their parents. The Binding Status column indicates whether the node type is used in a binding. When a viewpoint is bound to a dimension, all of its related data chain objects are also bound. A dimensions bound viewpoint is the only viewpoint that can be exported to the external application. In this hierarchy set, the department node type is bound because it's part of the data chain for the department viewpoint created by default when the application was registered. Employee is unbound. Save the hierarchy set definition. Notice that it's no longer displayed in draft mode. On the Validations tab, you can define custom business logic to enforce data rules for the hierarchy set. For example, you could create a custom validation to enforce a rule that a department node must always have children in this hierarchy. On the Data Chain tab, you can see the number of node types defined for the hierarchy set. Selecting the Node Types icon displays the node types, and you can click on a node type to open the Node Type Inspector for more information. I'll return to the Hierarchy Set Inspector. Notice that this hierarchy set is not yet used in a node set or viewpoint. On the Permissions tab, you can define user and group permissions for this hierarchy set. And on the Policies tab, you can create approval policies that govern the workflow for requests that affect the hierarchy set. I'll close the inspector. The new hierarchy set is displayed in the list. Notice that the binding status for the hierarchy set is node type bound, which means that while the hierarchy set is not used in the dimensions binding viewpoint, it contains one or more node types that are. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.